Hi everybody, thank you again for clicking on one of my videos. So right back into it with the explanation of some of the stuff going on in London. So last time where we left off was I had met Carolina and Nam. We'd had lots of fun at the pub crawl the night before. And then the next day I decided to hang out with those two again. And we went to Hyde Park. This is Hyde Park. It's just a bunch of grass.
Miley Cyrus.
You're Miley Cyrus?
Yeah, Miley Cyrus said, improve your reality or lower your expectations. And I'm not doing any of that.
We saw some iconic houses in this region. I can't remember, not region, but this suburb of London. I'll put it up on the screen. I'll show the houses. That was cool. And we just saw a few other random things. Then Nam went to some musical that he was going to go to, and then me and Carolina decided to go on a Harry Potter walking tour, which was super fun. The only thing was she had already booked it, so it was more that I decided to hop on the tour with her. The only catch was she had booked it in Spanish, because she was originally just going to go by herself with the small little Spanish group and Spanish tour guide. But I decided I wanted to do that because I thought it would be really cool to see all the Harry Potter things around London.
Hotel? Un poco más caro porque se aprovecha un poco de los turistas, pero vale la pena volver. No durante el fin. Y hay un par de cosas más por aquí. Por aquí hay el teatro, el Globo, Shakespeare's Globe, el Globo de Shakespeare. Este no es el
As we're taking this Harry Potter tour, learning about stuff that inspired the movies. They're filming a movie right here. Who knows what it is?
Aunque ahora lo están renovando, es el Ministerio de la Justicia. Okay. Vale. Ahora por el callejón más estrecho de Londres.
I think we know what this is.
Vale, este callejón y el a donde vamos son los dos callejones más viejos de Londres, ¿vale? Tienen alrededor de 500 años y son las únicas calles que quedan de la zona céntrica de Londres en su estado original. Que ha pasado algo muy grande en Londres que ha destrozado casi todo eso. Y la lechuga, y pensábamos que, bueno, los que vivían aquí querían alegrar un poco a la gente y tal y cual, pero parece... Yo me he comprado 3 para guardarse en su estado perfecto para mi jubilación. Exacto. Y solo lo he visto en esta tienda, así que, bueno, 22,50, bueno, es bastante bien. Una pregunta, el tipo que se ve en el billete de una libra.
Sí.
No.
That is really cool, but no. We got some Game of Thrones stuff in here that doesn't totally make sense. Naruto. What? Some swords. On the rings. But it was cool nonetheless. The tour guide was very gracious. She actually spoke English too, and she a few times just broke into English to translate something for me, and it was a cool experience. I got to see a lot of the classic Harry Potter shooting locations in London. Well, I found platform 9 3/4, but fuck this line, I'm not doing that. It's literally just a small gift store, smaller than the one I was in earlier. I'm gonna try to film in there really quick, I guess, but oh yeah, it's literally just the same place that I was earlier, but smaller.
Well,
Later that same evening.
No, just like it this way. Okay, stop. Just the half, please.
And then you just kept it there for a year. You're just like, you know what? I'll keep one half.
wait, let me show that picture. Show that picture.
Yeah, I want to see it as well.
Yo. I didn't notice the facial hair at first, and then I was like, yo, I fuck with the hair. I was like, oh.
So I get back to my hostel, and at some point during that day or the day before, I had met this guy, Hayden. Super cool guy, one of my friends who I'm still in touch with. Hayden and Marcos and I decided to get up to some shenanigans that night. So we were going to, if I'm not mistaken, try to parkour climb the side of the building and get on the roof or some stupid shit. But it turned out we were hanging out outside. They were smoking a cigarette or something, and this guy walks up to us, this random guy. And he sees us kind of standing there looking like we're up to no good, looking towards the edge of the building. Now, this is late at night. This is like 3 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. We're standing outside our hostel on the dark streets of London. They're smoking a cigarette. I'm just standing there on my phone. He comes up to us and he's like, I don't know what you guys are up to, but it looks fun and I want in. So we just kind of laugh. We're like, start bullshitting with him for a second. Seems like a cool guy. He's like probably around middle 30s. And so he chats with us for a couple minutes. He asks for a cigarette from Marcos or Hayden. And then we talk about whatever we've been doing that day with him and why we're there. And he had been out with some friends at a pub drinking, and they had gone home and he was heading home. And for some reason he hit it off with us, and he just thought we were cool. And he's like, you know, guys, I'm in a good mood. You want to come back to my apartment and we'll have some drinks and some snacks and just chat some more and just hang out a bit longer. I'm not feeling like going to bed yet. We're kind of just like, this seems a little sus. This is kind of questionable, man. Like, what's up with this guy? Is he trying to kidnap us? Is he going to try to roofie us? What are we doing here? What's going on? So we kind of looked at each other, exchanged some nervous glances, and Marcos, who was a bit outgoing, was like, come on, guys, let's do it. This sounds fun. And we kind of had this knowing look towards each other of like, all right, there's 3 of us. We can take the guy. And he was a very nice guy. There wasn't too many red flags, and he wasn't a huge guy. So we decided we'd go with it at least back to his house and see where things went. So we reluctantly said, sure, why not? Also, there's 3 of us.
Like a guinea fowl or something?
Kingfish.
I can't
What do
remember.
you eat?
Yeah.
It's very
it was
popular to
so
eat.
good, man. It's so good. We wrapped it in bacon.
Yeah. Is it pheasant?
So this guy calls a taxi, and we ride with him back to his apartment, and I think we had a little bit of so we rolled a he brought out some beers for us. I think he had like a little bit of wine that he had in a bottle, and we were kind of like, this guy's got some spiked wine he's giving us. What's happening here? But everything was fine. He was a good guy. Our guard was up, but then we realized we could trust the guy later on. We just stayed in his kitchen chatting about politics and life and London and travel, and he was a super interesting guy. He offered us the wine. We smoked a little bit. He tells us about his girlfriend, and he's like, oh, you guys ever heard of this Netflix production, or a couple Netflix shows that she had done production of some sort on? Was the director, producer? I can't remember. I think the producer. I think she was the main girl behind this show called, I forget what it was. Don't Mess with Cats, I think. And then there was another one. I'll try to throw both of these projects of hers up on screen. They're both Netflix projects that are semi-popular, or people know about them at least. People are familiar with them. I wasn't, but Hayden and Marcos both vaguely were. And the guy proved that this was his girlfriend. Actually, it wasn't bullshit. And he also proved his credentials, showed us that he had worked for the BBC and CNN, and he had been like a reporter. And he had been to Antarctica. He showed us like all these crazy pictures. It was a wild experience. The guy was super cool, really down to earth. And we were there with him probably from 3 a.m. until 7 a.m. It was a crazy experience. We just talked about all kinds of things in life. And at some point, the sun was coming up, and he finally was like, all right, guys, well, my girlfriend will be home around noon or possibly a little sooner. I don't want you guys to be here. It'd be a weird thing to explain. So yeah, if you guys want to get going, it's been great, but he kicks us out totally understandably. However, I forgot to mention, maybe a couple hours before that, the most cool part of the experience, before really the sun had come up, must have been 5 a.m. or something, 6 a.m. this guy, he's like, all right, guys, he's like, I've never done this for anybody before but a couple close friends, but this is a cool experience. I like you guys. This is always going to be a weird memory, or a cool memory. So he's like, let me go get something. What the fuck? This guy comes out with a clear, unmarked glass bottle, the kind that you has like the little cork with the lever that flips and it kind of pulls the cork down, the little metal lever. I think you know what I'm talking about. Usually it would have, some restaurants would have this for wine or water or some type of drink in the center of the table. Just a fancy little bottle. It's unmarked, clear liquid in it. At this point, we're like, oh, this is the part where he tries to rape us. This is it. So he's just like, all right, guys, this is this special, very expensive Irish, like moonshine, essentially. If you don't know what moonshine is, in the time back in the day in America when alcohol was prohibited during Prohibition, people would create their own high alcohol content liquor called moonshine. Very potent, very gross, very high alcohol content, like as high as you can pretty much get it. And the Irish, apparently with potatoes, have their own version of this, of moonshine, Irish moonshine. I think it's called like, it starts with a P, I think, Pagine, something like that. I could be wrong. I'll throw it up on screen. And so the guy, he tells us, I forget this guy's name, by the way. I'll also see if I can figure that out, but it doesn't matter. He tells us that this stuff was like around 400 pounds for this bottle, that he bought it from a friend who distilled it himself. And like each shot must have, I mean, I don't know the math of that exactly off the top of my head, but each shot was worth a decent amount. It's a 400-pound bottle. And he gave us each, I think, 2 shots of this stuff. And he already could tell that we were suspicious. And he's like, don't worry, guys. I swear, I'm not drugging you. I'll take a shot myself first so you can see it's not poisoned. So we trusted him at that point, and obviously it was just liquor. It was fine. It was the smoothest liquor I've ever tasted. For something that was 90-something percent, 190 proof probably or whatever, this stuff was like the smoothest vodka you've ever tasted. It was really good, and that's why it was so expensive. But anyway, so that was pretty much it. The sun comes up, he sends us home, and we walked back to our hostel, and it was a crazy experience.
Dude, we just fucking stayed out till 6:30 a.m. talking to some random guy who fucking, oh man, that was crazy. Like, look at these houses, man. He just invited us over. We had drinks at his place, like talked about fucking the world and politics and all the crazy shit going on. And like, he fucking worked for NBC and all this crazy shit. Like, this is that was a unique experience, wouldn't you say?
Totally.
Dude, what the
100%.
That was crazy.
I was like,
Definitely worth sacrificing the sleep.
yeah.
Man, that was very very interesting.
And I had plans to go to bed at like
Yeah, bro, London's crazy. London's so interesting.
I had like plans to go to bed at like 10 today as well, but
Dude, I gotta get
threw it
up.
out the window.
I gotta get up and like we're gonna get back and I'm gonna get like an hour or 2 of sleep. But fuck it, it's all good. Bro, this man pulled out some fucking like authentic, like, what the hell was that? It was like Irish, like,
Yeah, it's called Pagine.
yeah, it was basically like moonshine from Ireland from potatoes, and it was an unmarked clear bottle with this clear liquid, and we were like, is this it for us?
Yeah, bro, this
Are
is
we-
us trying to get us.
Are we gonna
roofie,
wake up
bro.
in the basement in chains? And no, dude, he just gives us a bunch of alcohol. You guys got some like.
Guys,
Next thing we know,
we're
we're talking about like state of the world with Russia and the U.S. and all the crazy shit.
Yeah, man.
Like, what, man? In some nice ass neighborhood. His girlfriend legitimately like
He's like a proper Netflix.
is
film
like famous.
director.
Yeah, has shit on Netflix. Like,
Yeah.
what the?
Yeah, fucking directed The Tinder Swindler. That's fucking
Bro.
crazy. Was like a executive producer.
For the
on-
longest time, I was like, this
Don't
is
fuck with
bullshit,
cats.
dude. Like, we're being
No,
finessed.
I looked
but,
up
like,
his girlfriend.
I
as
know,
well.
I know.
like,
I
this
was
is
after. Where the fuck are we, dude? Just stayed out all night, trying to find the underground. It's crazy.
I think this is like the third time I've done now. I'm just like, it doesn't hit it. It's because of ADHD.
Now, this is the experience that led to my phone being stolen, because we were out until 7 a.m. at this point. We get back to actually probably closer to 8 a.m. The sun had been up for a bit. We took a bit of time, catching trains and the tube back to our hostel. We get back to the hostel around 10 a.m., if I'm not mistaken, or 9:30 or something. And there was a free breakfast for the guests, so we had a breakfast at the hostel, and then we decided to go to bed after that, take a nap before we did more stuff that day. So I was very tired, with no sleep, having been drinking a lot and smoking, and I didn't wake up to my alarms, and I slept through a bunch of them until like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And as people left my hostel and checked out, one really weird, creepy guy that we had always gotten bad vibes from this whole week, or a little less than a week I'd been there. Everybody in the room was weirded out by this guy. He stayed in his bunk most of the time, made a bunch of weird noises in the night, like he was going through drug withdrawals or something, and it was strange. So I wake up one morning, or that morning, the morning of the 17th of April, and I panic because my phone's gone. And I think, oh no, I knocked it off my bunk. I was in, this hostel was a stack of 3 bunks. I think I showed that in the previous video. And I was in the middle bunk, curtains drawn, phone plugged in under my hand or my pillow or my shoulder in my bunk. So this guy realizes my alarms are going off and I'm not waking up, and everyone else must have left the room. And he's checking out that day. So he takes a chance, climbs up the ladder, reaches through my curtains over me, unplugs my phone, shuts off my alarm. I'm still not waking up. And then obviously there you have it. He dipped, and that was that. My phone was gone. RIP the iPhone 14 that I had for just those first couple weeks of the trip. And that obviously decreased the quality of all of my recordings and pictures from there. Very sad. I was back to my iPhone 10 that thankfully I was smart enough to bring with me. And that was my backup phone for the rest of the trip. That's not where the story ends. Now, I had my second phone, and I wasn't gonna let this guy just get away with it, so I could find my iPhone. I tracked him to not too far away, 10-15 minute walk away. And so I went after the guy. Wasn't the wisest thing to do, but I stopped somewhere, used a payphone or a person's phone to call the cops, and told them where I was, the direction I was going, to try to head this guy off. I was on a mission. This was some crazy stuff, not the smartest. And I run down the road, and I keep stopping where there's Wi-Fi because I didn't have data on this phone. I didn't have a SIM card. And I keep stopping to find Wi-Fi or someone's personal hotspot if they would let me use it to check, and keep updating the Find My iPhone tracker. And it kept pinging, and sure enough, this guy wasn't that far away. He was just 5-6 blocks down. So I'm sprinting, out of breath, like out of shape, just sprinting. And I make it to this sketchy area of London, and like a really rough neighborhood. Broad daylight, but still bad time to be there. And the guy's, I'm like almost on top of him at this point. I can see I had just been somewhere, pinged his location, and I get to this intersection where it looked like he had last been. And I asked this lady, like, hey, I explained really quick what happened. Like, do you mind letting me get on your hotspot so I can ping this again? Her and her friend were very helpful, and they had no problem with it. And then this is where it got weird. The other phone was pinging all over the intersection, just randomly. So that's where I learned the guy had done something, and he probably got the notification on the phone that I was tracking it and quickly made his way to an electronics store or had a bag he could put it in. I later had the police come, and they showed up and explained to me that it was a lost cause, that the guy had already sold the thing through some deal he had with some phone store probably, and sold it for drug money, and that was that. And they probably put it in some foil bag that blocked the signal. So I didn't get it, but thanks to a few very helpful citizens, they did stay with me. There was one guy who I asked when I saw the apartments nearby that it pinged to at one point. Maybe he was there, so I went and knocked on a couple doors. It was some old people houses. It was a bust. But this one guy, he offered to help me again before the cops actually showed up, try to ping it one more time to see if it moved, because I was obviously desperate at that point, freaking out. And he actually stayed with me because it was a rough area. He stayed with me for like half an hour, just hanging with me, just to make sure like nobody did anything to me, because I was just some American running around this sketchy neighborhood of London. And that was a really nice thing for that guy to do. The two ladies who initially helped me when I stopped in this area, they reappeared, and they saw me, and they were like, oh, no way, you're still looking. And Anyway, didn't find the phone. The cops told me they had just been responding to a similar scenario, that this happens a lot. So that's that. My phone was stolen, and that's the end of that story. Well, so as you can imagine, my phone being stolen ruined my day, and this was 2 days before my birthday. So I kind of just was not very happy for the rest of the day, and the following day, the 18th, I didn't do a whole lot, and I think I explored London a little bit more.
Time to explore the British Museum and see all the stolen. Let's go. Just the Rosetta Stone, man. That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, bro. Boys, that's the beard of the Great Sphinx. Like straight up. Part of the Sphinx right there. Sick. A little lion. They found so many things that were like the Sphinx but with lion heads, which is why they think that it was carved down from a like f***ed up lion head a long time ago. Speed further up. Members room. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I wonder if he like got shriveled up.
Right? So it's a man, it's not a kid. That's wild. Here's some of the pottery. First Dynasty. Nice. Much older. Pieces of the Parthenon. Pretty awesome. Oh yeah. Right. What's up, bro?
went to the British Museum, and that was cool. Seeing the Rosetta Stone was cool. That cheered me up a little bit, seeing that, and the beard of the Sphinx, and some other Egyptian and Sumerian and ancient artifacts from these time periods, Roman, Greek, everything. The British Museum was cool, even though most of it is stolen, and they should for sure give a lot of that stuff back. Anything that wasn't acquired legitimately, like given to them essentially, or traded, that they stole, they should give that stuff back. But I digress.
Down, yep.
You're not supposed to well, you find yourself in Abu Dhabi.
Way in the different area.
And then that's pretty much everything for this video. In the next video, I'll get into the day of my birthday and April 20th and everything after that. But that does it for this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.